Okay, welcome to today's battle report. As usual, you can see our table is laid out. We've gone quite a rural theme today. Lots of kind of like rocks, a crashed Imperial landing craft, a couple of forests, a bit of a ruin, and over here you can see Paul's Aegis defence line set up. We are playing the Scouring today with the Vanguard Strike deployment zones. Myself and Chris are setting up in this table corner, and Paul and True are setting up over there. The 6 objectives for the Scouring are placed. We have one down here, which is worth 3 victory points. We have one here, only worth 1 victory points. He's the pauper of the group. Over here, this one is worth 3 victory points. One hiding in this crater is worth 4 victory points. One hiding in that crater there is worth 2 victory points. And the one hiding behind the defence line is only worth 1 victory point. We're playing 2 teams today. Each team has 2 armies of 1,000 points each. It is Eldar and Eldar versus Daemons and Imperial Guard. Okay, today we have brought a Bloodthirster as our leader of the army. He has the Might power. We have 6 pink horrors, including the Changeling, and 1 with Bolt. I am using the new White Dwarf rules. You can find them around on the internet if you look hard enough. And I'm taking some Screamers. They're now an awful lot better. We have 5 Plague Bearers, no upgrades at all. I'm taking another new White Dwarf unit, an Exalted Chariot of Tzich. Of Slaanesh. It may look like an elf chariot with some Seekers and a Herald stuffed on the back, but it's really the actual model, I promise. And we have 2 exactly the same equipped Soul Grinders, each of them have Phlegm.
And I, for today, will be running my Imperial Guard for the first time, so expect them to die horribly, but we'll see. So we have a company command squad here with 3 plasma guns, a platoon command squad with 3 flamers. Charge them at your peril. Blob squad of 20 guardsmen, 2 grenade launchers amongst them, led by a Lord Commissar with Power Fist and Plasma Pistol. Veteran squad with 3 melters, obviously that's just like the standard, who'll be chuffing around in this Valkyrie to bring the death rain wherever they need to. A Leman Russ Executioner, and the 2 Chimeras will be carrying around the various command squads. And the new stealth-equipped Scout Sentinels. They're so stealthy you can't even see the top half of them. But they are Scout Sentinels with autocannons, smoke launchers, and otherwise, that's it.
Okay, the first of the 2 Eldar armies today is led by Karandras the Phoenix Lord. And he is, of course, with him got his disciples. That's 10 striking scorpions and the Exarch. The Exarch could only afford chain sabers, so he hasn't brought his power claw to this battle. For troops, I have a trusty unit of 10 guardians with a scatter laser and 6 guardian jet bikes with 2 shuriken cannons. And then rounding out the squad, I've got some fast attack choices, so I'm pretty pleased to be playing the Scouring. I've got a unit of 5 warp spiders. They're led by an Exarch with double Death Spinner. And trying them for the first time, a unit of 5 Sweeping Hawks led by an Exarch with the Skyleap power.
The second half of today's Eldar Warhost is a Falcon whose Shuriken catapults have been upgraded to a cannon, and he has a missile launcher on him. We have a troop choice of 6 Dire Avengers, no upgrades, a second troop of Dire Avengers, 6 of them, no upgrades, 10 Scorpions, some Warp Spiders are standing in for the missing Scorpions. My HQ is the Farseer. He has Doom Guide, every sort of runes he could possibly get on him. Unit of War Walkers with Scatter Lasers, a Wraith Lord. He has his sword with him and he has a missile launcher, it looks like a bright last. 10 Guardians, they also have a missile launcher. Sadly, the objective is not mine, he just happens to be there.
Okay, so this is our setup. Chris has set up all the Impi Guard down here. We've got the large blob squad, a couple of Chimeras and the Leman Russ down here. The rest of our stuff is all in reserve. Obviously the Demons have to stay in reserve, and Chris has left his Valkyrie and his War Walkers, or Scout Sentinels, off the board. The Evil Eldar have set up. They have set up behind their large Aegis defence line. We have a couple of units of Guardians there. We have some Striking Scorpions set up as a counter-assault unit. We have the Farseer manning a quad gun, or very nearly, and a Wraith Lord standing next to him. The jet bikes are in the backfield, ready to jet forward. and the Falcon is over here near an objective. There is one of the 6-man Dire Avengers are embarked upon the Falcon. The other Dire Avengers are hiding out over here, no doubt waiting to jump on this objective. And we have the Striking Scorpions who have infiltrated onto the back of the board. They have got Feel No Pain from Karandras because he has rolled up a decent Warlord power for the first time. The Bloodthirster rolled the one that lets him outflank. Awesome.
Okay, it's end of turn 1 for the good guys. That would be the Daemons and the Imperial Guardsmen, fighting back for their planet from the evil Eldar invasion. This guy sneezed on the Striking Scorpions here, and it was very caustic snot and destroyed a lot of them. Otherwise, the Leman Russ Eradicator fired at this quad gun and didn't do anything to it because it made it safe, but the Farseer that was powering it did dissolve in a big pile of plasma fury. The Imperial Guardsmen themselves were out of range, and these two Chimeras fired all they had at the quad gun and managed to score a single wound due to some spectacularly poor rolling on my behalf. This Soul Grinder sneezed on the Falcon and immobilised it, doing a wound hull point as well, but it is immobilised, which is kind of tasty. The Bloodthirster is down a wound after being shot by said quad gun, and he's ready to go and say hello to his new best friend Karandras and his squad when he gets the chance to assault. Otherwise, that's it. It's been a fairly good turn. We've done some damage over here. Wait and see how it turns out.
Okay, Eldar turn 2. The Striking Scorpions have moved out and have unloaded all their shuriken pistols at the Bloodthirster. They did amazingly well. They managed to get 11 shots and 6 of them hit, which is pretty ginormous when you're shooting a flyer. They managed to do a wound, but the flyer stayed up in the air, so their plan to assault it didn't pay off. The Dire Avengers over here tried to add to the wounds, but no luck. So the Bloodthirster has taken 2 wounds. That's one from the Striking Scorpions and one from the quad gun as it landed. Most of the rest of the army that could fire fired at the chariot of Slanesh. We only managed to do 1 hull point of damage to it. The Dire Avengers have dismounted from the immobilised Falcon. They're hiding out in the river. The Wraith Lords moved over a bit. And I think that's the end of our turn 1.
Okay, so Demon and Imperial Guard turn 2. The rest of the demons arrived. Some pink horrors deep struck over here and killed a load of the Guardians that were in the centre there. This Soul Grinder also took a large pot shot at the Guardians who were there, but he scattered quite a lot, and I had deep struck my Screamers over here, and he managed to hit them. That was an excellent move, managed to kill one. But then the Screamers, they leapt over the top of the remaining Guardians and got themselves into cover, using their new slashing attacks to kill 4 of the Guardians, including both heavy weapon squad members, which was really nice. We fired our plasma tank over here at the gun emplacement again. That thing is indestructible. We hit it a load of times, failed to do anything. He just makes his cover saves or we failed to wound, one of the two. The Soul Grinder over here was one of the other units that shot at this gun. Again, managed to wound it, passed his save, but we did put a wound on the Wraith Lord at the same time. The Slanesh Exalted Chariot charged the immobilised Falcon that was there and managed to get a couple of hits, well, 15 hits, and blew it up. Killed a Guardian in the resulting explosion. The Imperial Guardsmen, seeing their Bloodthirster about to be beset by the evil Striking Scorpions, all shuffled sideways and first rank fired, second rank fired with all their las guns. Managed to a couple of wounds on Karandras, which was most helpful. The command squad, who are inside the Chimera, opened up on Karandras with their plasma guns. He failed 2 out of 3 lookout sirs and bought the bullet with the AP2. The Bloodthirster then charged the remains of the squad, challenged the Exarch, who wisely declined, and then he killed 3 other members and they failed their leadership, and he killed them with a sweeping advance. Some Plague Bearers have also arrived, as have the Scout Walkers, or Legs as we like to know them. They shot at the Dire Avengers behind here, managed to kill 1. Not the best performance in the world.
Eldar turn 2. We really needed some reinforcements this round because things are not going well. Unfortunately, neither the War Walkers, the Sweeping Hawks, or the Warp Spiders heeded the call. We are on our own out here. So in the shooting phase, we achieved exactly nothing. However, in the assault phase, we managed to charge forward with our Striking Scorpions and assault the Screamers at Tzeentch, taking them down to 1. That's quite a nice result because that means we're locked in combat for their turn. And over here, the Dire Avengers bravely sallied forth and knocked the demon out of her chariot. Unfortunately, the chariot still goes on without her. And that's it, really. If the guys don't show up next turn, it's going to be all over.
End of the good guys' turn 3. The Demon and Imperial Guard are doing well. Over here, with this objective now clear and being worth 3 points as opposed to the measly one here, the Guardsmen are heading towards it. As you may have noticed from the fact where they're stood, they're not exactly running towards it at Daley Thompson type of speed. So we're going to be a while shuffling over there. Over here, the Sentinels shot at the Dire Avengers, taking a couple more out, then charged into close combat, and neither side did any wounds to each other, so that's tied up at the moment. The Plague Bearers are moving off so they can take a pick of what objective they want to head to. This Soul Grinder decided to vomit all over the Dire Avengers and whittled them down to one remaining, where the Chariot then decided to run them over, doing the obscene amount of wounds that Chariot does, finishing them off. The Guardians over there were whittled down by fire from... Who shot them?
They were shot by Chimera.
Yes, the Chimera certainly finished them off with a multi-laser and heavy bolter, and the Soul Grinder whittled them down as well, leaving no Guardians there. The ones in the crater have also been removed. The Wraith Lord was dissolved by plasma fire from the Eradicator, Executioner, sorry, who took 3 shots and just took him to pieces. Mostly it's gone pretty well, apart from our Vendetta was not exactly the glory hound of the moment, charging in, shooting 3 twin-linked las cannons at the Wraith Lord while he was there and doing absolutely squat. Our arch nemesis, though, the quad gun, is dead. That was this Soul Grinder's contribution to the war effort. So far, that leaves some jet bikes over in that corner, and those Dire Avengers, and that's it. Although there are still Eldar reserves to come on, so we shall see what happens when they do.
Eldar turn 3. Finally our reserves turned up. The Swooping Hawks and Warp Spiders have both landed in from Deep Strike. The Swooping Hawks managed to take out 4 members of this squad over here. And the War Walkers came on behind the Valkyrie. Unfortunately their 24 shots didn't manage to do anything to its rear armour. The Guardian jet bikes managed to take a hull point off of it though. The Warp Spiders managed to fire and destroyed the chariot. They then jumped back to try and get out of the range of the vomit attack, but unfortunately lost one of their members to the warp whilst only moving 2 inches. The Striking Scorpions charged in against these pink horrors, killing one of them. And the brave Dire Avengers continue to fight against the horrors of the demon-possessed legs. The legs managed to kill another of their members, but they stood firm. We think the Bloodthirster might be coming in to end that nonsense, though.
Okay, Demon and Imperial Guard, turn 4. We started off by unloading a load of stuff to the Eldar that were in this quadrant of the table. This Chimera ran forward, unloaded its command squad with 3 flamers. They flamed the Swooping Hawks, who were nice bundled up in a nice little squad there, and managed to roast all of them. The Soul Grinder over here took a shot at the deep striking in Warp Spiders, but he scattered and went over there and killed a couple of the jet bikes. Excellent scatter. The Plasma Tank continued its awesome game. It managed to hit 3 times on the centre of the Warp Spiders and wiped them all out. Over here the Soul Grinder charged into the combat, hoping to rescue his pink horror brethren. He managed to kill only one of the Striking Scorpions, while they slaughtered 3 of the poor little cute demons. Over here the Veteran Squad leapt out of the Valkyrie and shot their melter guns at the War Walkers, failing to do much. They then charged into close combat, landing loads of crack grenades, exploding a War Walker. Wasn't a good move. It then killed 3 guardsmen with the explosion. There's 1 War Walker left and a few Impy guardsmen. The Vendetta moved forward and las cannoned some of the jet bikes. There is just 2 of them left. Over here the Bloodthirster mopped up the last of the Dire Avengers. And that was it for our Demon turn 4.
Eldar turn 4. The Striking Scorpions managed to wipe out the remaining pink horrors, but only took 1 wound from the Soul Grinder. They're not allowed to choose to auto-break because they didn't actually lose the combat. The Imperial Guard managed to blow up a War Walker without exploding it this time, so they obviously learned their lesson. The only Eldar left on the table are these 2 board-hugging jet bikes. They had some shots at this Imperial Guard squad, but the Guard squad made its cover saves. We're thinking we're probably off the table this turn.
So the game has ended on the Demon's 5th turn. The Soul Grinder wiped out the last striking Scorpion, and the Vendetta shot the last 2 jet bikes. So we're just going to have quick thoughts on the game. The victory points ended 17-1, so something went wrong for the Eldar. What do you think went wrong, Paul?
Well,
all of it.
I was coming to the game thinking 6th edition, you can just get lots of glances to kill vehicles these days, so I'll just take loads and loads of strength 6 shooting and glance everything to death. And then I was up against a whole load of AV-13 vehicles.
Yes, we had the 2 Soul Grinders and the Lemrus. I don't know about you, Chris, but I generally considered the game that they were indestructible. There was nothing that worried me.
There wasn't anything that worried me. There was a little bit of threat from missile launchers early on, but they didn't take long to whittle away. So yeah. I did not.
We were reasonably careful that we didn't ever leave them open to the reserves coming in, because the reserves had the strength 6, didn't they?
We weren't stupid with them, so they didn't have much risk.
Yeah, the only way we could hurt them was to get in their rear armour, and because you made that nice arc across the table,
that's
a way to get into the rear armour without...
Yes, I was quite lucky on my... Well, I don't consider it luck, I consider it stick your balls on your table and you managed to do it, but the Demons deep struck very well, which was good for them. Yeah. I got into position with both the Soul Grinders, kind of like pinned in your force, because we were over here and over there. But I think that was the main crux of it. We just used those 2 and this tank to push forwards, while the rest of our stuff that was quite squishy just stayed at the back and didn't really worry.
And then we couldn't. By the time the things like the Valkyrie came on, we weren't able to deal with them.
Yeah, I mean you were unlucky with
the Woolwalkers.
You're unlucky with Karandras over here, because once the Bloodthirster had lost 2 wounds, I was no longer sure that he could assault and kill him. Because if he strikes first, he's likely to do some.
About how aggressively I should have looked outside.
Yeah, I think you need to protect your character at the front, but obviously the character at the front is there to protect the squad, so it's a bit of a toss-up between...
The reason I taking him was so I could have a 2+ armour guy.
Yeah.
So obviously I look outside all the plasma should fire.
Yeah.
But I didn't look outside any of the lasgun fire, and the lasguns did deal me 2 wounds.
But I just say, I do see the point that he's there to take the wounds. It's just I felt that in that situation he was the one that would fight the Bloodthirster, so he needed to stay alive longer.
My plan at the start of the turn had been to refuse a challenge and you could fight 10 striking Scorpions.
But then obviously we fired our massive blob squad in and did some wounds.
Yeah.
The Guard were good, they sat there all game, shooting stuff. As I say, I was really pleased with the Soul Grinder this game. I was a little bit unsure of them, because the vehicles are obviously slightly worse than new rules, but because I wanted to take the new chariot, I wanted to have some other armour in the army to soak fire away, and they performed really well. I think due to the fact that all of us brought less anti-tank than we used to in 5th, so that has actually made tough vehicles actually tougher.
Yes.
Yeah, interesting. What do you guys think of the mission, the fast attack scoring? I quite like the 2 missions that give you other scoring units.
It changed the capacity for like the outflanking Warwalkers and demon-infused legs to be a threat to points where otherwise they wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Good old demon-infused legs scored us a victory point at the end.
The Soothing Hawks would have been awesome at that mission if it had been more even throughout, and I got Soothing Hawks late.
Yeah, that's it. If you'd have survived more and didn't need to leave them on the table, then the bouncy would have been really good.
Yeah, it made us think a lot more about what the different options. So in that regard, it was nice. It changed the game field a little bit, but yeah, it was it snowballed too quickly for it to really play much part in this game.
At the start of the game I expressed my concern that an Aegis defence line with cannon wasn't the best use of 100 points, but I was proved severely wrong, as it was probably their MVP.
It certainly attracted lots and lots of fire, and it wounded the Bloodthirster and did some other damage as well.
It killed a Screamer.
Did it take a whole point off the Valkyrie when it came in?
No, it died before then, I think.
Yeah, the Warwalkers did that. But it absorbed a lot of fire for fear of damaging the Valkyrie, so it...
So it was only toughness 7 with a 4+ cover save from being behind the defence line.
Yeah, that's it.
But there wasn't really any, in terms of having an anti-flyer tool in your toolkit, that's pretty much all the Eldar have got.
No, see, I'm still slightly concerned about the flyers. That game, it seemed better. The Bloodthirster just seemed immense being able to sit up there. The Valkyrie, I'm not so worried about the flying vehicles, just the fact that they have to continue moving every turn, so it's hard to keep them in position. But if I'd taken Fate Weaver, I mean, he's just ridiculous now.
Yeah, hang on 6s and then... Only 1 in every 9 shots goes through.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reason I didn't take him, was because I think he's probably a little broken now. But overall, I mean, it wasn't the most enjoyable game, because it was a bit one-sided. And I think that was mainly the vehicle thing, and your reserve rolls are really poor as well, not getting them on.
Turn 2, not getting any of our reserves.
And the Farseer dying to the first shot in the game was also not best.
Yeah, and also you expected less armour, so you didn't bring much anti-armour, so it was,
Okay, thanks guys.